Welcome back to the channel, Formula One family. So today, what are we doing? We're checking out the entire history of Formula One. I'm hoping that this video goes literally dated back to when the crowd was just exposed and getting hit in the face with tires to present day when things have just modernized and the technology that goes behind Formula One as well as the money has just skyrocketed higher and higher. Either way, Formula One is just something that has really piqued my interest as well as classical music. And it's a phenomenon, just like football as well, that I had no idea existed a couple weeks ago, and now I'm obsessed with it. It's become my whole personality kind of on this channel. Like, bitch, why am I representing McLaren, a car that I cannot afford? I don't know, but we're here to do it anyway. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video, help your girl get to 10K over on Instagram. That is my #1 goal for this year on social media. And yeah, again, subscribe if you like the Formula One content, because I also want to get to 100K on this channel. We did it for the music channel. We better be able to do it for the culture channel. Come on, people, let's do it. Let's get into Formula One, the entire history of the sport. Is it a sport? Or a science experiment? Is it both? Low-key, it's both. Anyways, this is the history of Formula One, I guess.
Taco Bell breakfast.
Pete!
Nothing too wild, just delicious.
That low-key does look good. Anyway. Let's go, bastard.
It's 1894 and the first ever motor race has just been held from the French capital of Paris to one of its neighbouring cities, Rouen.
Let's
have a
championship.
championship, said absolutely no one, who raced for another 56 years before finally setting up Formula One.
Yeah, because wasn't it like the rich people
A championship like no other, with fierce competition amongst the world's elite drivers and constructors. This isn't what it looked like though, because unlike today, the sport first started with small privately owned teams who produced cars with little regard for aerodynamics or human safety.
That's like only the rich and top 1% would be like, hey, let's build cars just to crash them. Like the modern man like you and I, if we wreck our car, it's devastating. We can't just go out and buy another one.
Mechanical problems were common, and most accidents were fatal. In fact, at any point your car could suddenly break down, sending you to an inevitable death.
Oh my goodness.
Surely no one's going to want to join this.
Endless people did. I'm sure it's a rush
seems
though.
Like people really do. And despite the prospect of imminent death, the Formula One train was full steam ahead. A governing body was set up, now called the FIA, and 81 drivers decided to race in 1950, including this man, the first ever world champion, Nino Farina, an Italian driver driving for an Italian team. But it's not Ferrari. Although it may seem crazy today, Alfa Romeo dominated the first era of Formula One alongside Ferrari. They drove pre-war car designs with an engine in front of the driver and ran on a budget so small it would give Christian Horner an aneurysm.
Oh my. So when did the mid-engine style become like popular as well? Like who discovered that was the best thing? And this reminds me, there's someone named like Schumer or Michael Schumer that you guys also want me to check out. So look forward to a video about him, or someone send me a link or comment a link that you think we should do.
This Formula One thing is getting kind of boring,
Diarrhea.
said the FIA, who introduced new regulations in 1954, which hurt the leading constructors and saw the rise of a new team from way over in Germany, who wear lederhosen and eat sausage.
Hamburger.
And who are not really best friends with right now. The team was called Mercedes, who had gone on to dominate 2 championships with Argentine Juan Manuel Fangio at the helm, before their run of success was put to a dramatic halt after the team's involvement in the deadliest motorsport crash in history. The 1955 Le Mans disaster saw the deaths of 84 people.
Le Mans disaster? 84 people. The car's on fire. It's like ripped to shreds. What is this? Paper mache? Mercedes? What the And you know the Germans, we did a video about German inventions a few videos back. And they were like making the helicopter, they were making ships, they were making like endless stuff. X-ray, they're coined for so much. But I guess as they're mass producing stuff, was the quality just not good back in the day?
Including Mercedes driver Pierre Levay. And although no one was to blame for the crash, Mercedes withdrew from motorsport entirely for 34 years.
That's sad.
Moving on, are you tired of your engine being in front of your car?
happening?
Do you want a new design that gains you performance and championships? Well, try the new mid-engine design coming to a paddock near you.
Mid-engine! I just asked y'all!
It's the late 1950s, and after the fall
Germans?
of Mercedes, Ferrari, and Alfa Romeo, Formula One is wide open for the taking. Oi, bruv! What's that? It's the UK, who love one thing more than
McLaren?
team biscuits, and that's world domination. But this time, in
No, because why is there a U in my name? I'm Nigerian. My ancestors are quaking right now.
the motor racing world through the development of mid-engine cars, which went on to wreck the pre-war designs used by Italian teams, leading to 5 new British world champions. Elsewhere, F1 has begun
John Lennon?
designs used by Italian teams, leading to 5 new British.
Whoa. Oh no, Jay Stewart. Or is Stewart just like a title and that is John Lennon? I don't know. Someone let me know. Sideburns and the glasses make me think John Lennon.
World champions. Elsewhere, F1 has begun expanding overseas with 4 new races in Canada, the USA, Mexico, and South Africa. These two have just set up their own private teams called McLaren and Williams, and Formula One constructors need more financial support than ever before.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Mr. McMahon?
Here comes the money.
In the 1970s, Formula One started getting pretty expensive through endless crashes, regulation
Oh my
changes,
gosh.
and life insurance. But teams have just found a way around it by allowing brands to advertise their products during a race in exchange for a fee. And
Low-key, that's smart. Both people benefit. And I guess I would say Formula One is like horse racing or a day at the Derby, but for like the fun rich people. You know what I mean? Like the ones who are kind of, they're not pompous. They like to get down and dirty. They're not afraid of a little mess on their clothes. Those are the kind of people going to Formula One, at least in the 70s, it seems.
they would start to advertise anything that paid well. Condoms, cigarettes, musicians, and even
Why
today,
not?
sponsorship still remains a huge part of the sport, to the point where it looks like 6ix9ine just shapeshifted onto the new RB19 chassis.
Sorry?
This racing thing's pretty cool, said hotshots Nicky Lauda and James Hunt, becoming the two faces of the sport in the mid-1970s. Lauda, the face of professionalism and hard work, and Hunt, the face of cigarettes, champagne, and
He's
models.
hot, though. Yeah.
He was a bit of a legend. The two would give
He's
fans the
handsome.
closest title fight yet in 1976, with
It's a
Lauda and
big-ass
Ferrari
cone at
putting
the
up a
top of the
dramatic
car.
title defense against Hunt and McLaren. Despite Lauda almost dying in a crash at the Nürburgring, the
Why would you
championship
hit
went down to
him?
the
And
last
he's on
race of
fire.
the Japanese Grand Prix, with Hunt clinching his first and only title in the dying laps of the race.
And new world champion, James Hunt, by just one
Congrats, Hunt.
single point.
It's the late
At one point,
1970s
though.
now,
Oh,
and
fuck.
being a constructor sucks for a lot of reasons. Formula One is racing in over 5 different continents, which is barely feasible for private teams. Each track controls the advertising and prize money of their individual Grand Prix, and the sport's governing body, the FISA, dictate all the rules, regulations, and commercial rights. I know what to do, said Bernie Eccleston, forming the Formula One Constructors Association.
I'm sorry, this is kind of off topic, but something about the 70s, everyone was just, there's just something about the people, the humans. Across the world, the 70s and the 80s, y'all were dripped out. Oh, we need to bring like authenticness and individuality back, legitimately.
Eccleston forming the Formula One Constructors Association, which leveled the playing field going into the ground effect era, which was
Nice.
an era of huge change.
Give the
in
people
Formula
back their
One.
power.
New technology has been introduced with the use of side pods. A Brazilian called Nelson Piquet is winning championships in both motor racing and Muay Thai kickboxing, and there are a couple of rookies in town who can only be described with one word:
Icons?
greatness.
Yeah! This video is so hopeful and like inspirational. Like a sport that was once meant for just like the rich and reckless has now become for the common man and the reckless. I love that. Share the podium, homies.
Who are these guys? Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, who started their rise in Formula One during the mid-1980s. Prost was simply sensational, winning the 1985 and 1986 championships with McLaren, and Senna had a driving style
McLaren!
so mesmerizing
Why do they fall
that it
from
actually made
greatness?
you forget that he was in a relationship with a 15-year-old at the time.
Oh no. What did Taylor Swift say? I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. Ew, I kind of feel, it's kind of gross. It's not kind of, it is gross. Let me know your opinions, but I find it weird.
McLaren believe that these two would be a great pairing, which honestly makes me question what they were smoking out of the exhaust pipes. Because instead, it led to a fierce rivalry with 2 championships ending in dramatic fashion in Japan.
Jeez.
I mean, seriously, what did they expect to happen? It's 1992, and Williams have just developed a technology called active suspension. Hey, why don't we use it to dominate the grid for 2 years? Said Williams using it to dominate the grid for 2 years, which saw Nigel Mansell and Alain Prost win back-to-back championships with the team. Heading into the 1994 season, Formula One was set for one of its most exciting years yet. Ayrton Senna moved to Williams, replacing the retiring Prost. Newcomer Michael Schumacher was given a competitive car.
Okay, Schumacher came in the 90s. Formula One, it's actually very, very special. Like, literally the things that they created or innovated, and you see it trickle down into just like what we know today is like normal. Or not normal, but still like a common thing for cars. But it all started and was like perfected in Formula One. Like, I just love that. I love things like that. It's great.
Ayrton Senna moved to Williams, replacing the retiring Prost. Newcomer Michael Schumacher was given a competitive car at Benetton. And Ferrari had hopes of a rebound year, with Gerhard Berger and Jean Alesi at the wheel. Oh boy.
Ferrari's like top 5.
What an exciting year this will be.
1994 San Marino Grand Prix. Oh god, if it's another crash, I'll be sad. It is.
The 1994 San Marino Grand Prix to this day remains the most devastating weekend of Formula One's history, with 2 fatalities in 2 days. A crash at Villeneuve during qualifying saw the death of Roland Ratzenberger, and on lap 7 of the race, 3-time world champion Ayrton Senna experienced a steering column failure at a speed of 192 miles an hour.
And he didn't say kilometers, he said miles per hour. I can understand that. Perspective. Almost 2, yeah, you're over. If you're on TikTok, then maybe you've come across a video where it's like, will I survive this? And it's just some guy and some animations where like they drive off a cliff or they run into a wall. It's just at different speeds. And he says whether he thinks he'd survive it or not. And like at 90 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour, the cars are getting obliterated. So just imagine, and this isn't even a full car. There's no protection. I don't even know if there's a seat belt. This is like the nurse coming out of me. These drivers are barely protected, and it's the 90s. I would even argue today some of the cars aren't as safe as they should be. But 200 miles per hour back in the 90s. Rest in peace to the guys.
Which saw the Brazilian have a fatal crash at the Tamburello corner. This would prove to be a serious wake-up call to the FIA, who believed that F1 cars were inherently safe despite the dramatic speed increase over the previous 8 years. And after the crash, many of the Williams personnel were investigated due to the belief that it was a mechanical failure that caused the crash.
The steering column. That's why, another ad, bitch. The science is, it's more than just like, oh, who can get the fastest time. It's also really important to be safe. Who can have the safest car for these drivers? You know, they're investing millions into these cars, into these drivers, into these races. So I'd hope that everyone would go home safely after.
Let's get back to the racing now, because 1994, despite being overshadowed by the deaths of Ratzenberger and Senna, still had one of the closest title fights ever between Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill.
Schumacher!
The 2 drivers were split by nothing the whole season and arrived at the final race in Australia just 1 point apart. And this race would see the 3rd controversial ending to a championship in just 5 years.
That reminds me, Azerbaijan Grand Prix is up on Patreon. Link in description and pin comment.
When the 2 made contact in a crash that was potentially caused by Schumacher, knowing full well it would lead to his first world title. Despite all the controversy around it, no action was taken against Schumacher.
So he just
would
won?
never try any antics like this ever again.
That could have ended badly, Schum.
Until 3 years later, when he did the same thing to Jacques Villeneuve, got disqualified from the 1997 championship, and was publicly ridiculed by the mainstream media.
We just did a video about Lewis Hamilton, and I got so many comments saying, no, Schumacher's better, blah, blah, blah. Homie's out here doing this, playing bumper cars. It's like the angel versus the devil. They're both going to win, though. It's just about your morals, I guess. I don't know. But never did I see in that video Lewis Hamilton playing bumper cars. I'll just say that. At these speeds, too?
8, 7, 6, 5.
New Year?
3, 2,
New
2000, a new millennium and a new era in Formula 1. The World Championship is in the hands of McLaren and Mika Häkkinen. Michael Schumacher is hunting his first title for Ferrari and third as a driver. And Formula 1 cars
Ferrari
have
guy.
a new soundtrack through the introduction of V10 engines.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, that was hot. Oh my god, did you hear the scream, the whine? Oh my god. Oh my god. Those of you who live in like countries where cars with V10s, V8s, V12s, as we have now, are just normal, God's favorite. You're blessed. The only thing I hear is Honda Civics, clapped out Honda Accords, Toyota Camrys with big ass wings on them, and a broken down Mercedes clunking because the engine's blown on the side of the road.
V10 engines. At this point, no driver had won more than 2 titles in a row for over 4 decades. But Ferrari and Schumacher were about to change that.
Schumacher!
Winning 5 championships in a row,
Holy
including
shit!
2 title battles with Mika Häkkinen and Kimi Räikkönen, and 3 years of complete supremacy. Like in 2002, where Ferrari finished the season with the same amount of points as every other team in the championship combined. Knock knock, who's there? It's an energy drink company who have just bought
Red
out
Bull!
Jaguar and joined the Formula 1 grid. Elsewhere, Renault have a superstar in their hands. Fernando Alonso, a 22-year-old
name.
Spaniard who pulls off
22?
moves which defy the laws of physics and is ready to end Ferrari's run of 5 consecutive titles by becoming the youngest ever double world champion.
I've got chills. Like hearing the story, I hate to say lore, but it kind of is the lore. But hearing the story behind all these names and the history of the teams and even the crashes, it's all so interesting and ties like this beautiful story together of Formula 1. This is amazing.
I want to be great again, said McLaren, who went into the 2007
Too close to
season
home,
with
that
an
song.
all-new driver lineup and a brand new plan that would bring them championship success. The plan involved signing the defending champion Alonso and an inexperienced rookie to ensure no competition in the team.
Okay.
What's the worst that could happen?
When the team doesn't play as a team, it makes no sense to me.
So yeah,
Like, your teammates, isn't the goal for you both to get on that podium? So you should, instead of blocking each other, block everybody else. Do a Michael Schubert. Play some bumper cars. At safe speeds, of course.
yeah, it turns out McLaren made a very slight error which faulted their master plan. Because instead of signing an inexperienced rookie, they signed Lewis Hamilton, who
Hey! I didn't recognize him without the braids! Lewis Hamilton, an icon! Sorry, other dude, it's over with. Bring on Lewis!
inexperienced rookie, they signed Lewis Hamilton, who raced like a veteran from the start, sparking a number of debates and controversies at McLaren over the season, like Spygate, when the team was fined
Spygate?
£100 million for being in possession of confidential Ferrari documents.
These guys are wild. McLaren spying. It's that serious, though, for them, I guess. Spying on another, it's that deep.
Ironically, it was Ferrari who went on to win that season with Kimi Räikkönen, although Hamilton would eventually win out the
Kimi.
next year with an overtake at the last corner of the final race.
As he should. Okay, cutting it in close. My favorite thing also is seeing like the teams just get so happy. Because it's like you've worked so hard for this moment. Devoted so much, everything to it. A new era.
2009, a year which shaped the landscape of Formula 1 with a new regulation change by the FIA. Used the regulations to produce a dominant car. And that's exactly what Brawn did to perfection, which allowed them to bring title success to Jenson Button before the 3 teams with bigger budgets could catch up for the next season. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Sebastian Vettel, who Red Bull gave wings in the early 2010s, which allowed the German to win 4 consecutive world titles, including 2...
Oh! This is the birth of the spoiler. 2009. Cool.
extremely close championship battles, and 2 years of record-breaking dominance.
Youngest ever world champion. I thought the other guy, 22, from like Spain or something. Youngest ever pole sitter, 21. Yeah, that makes sense. Most consecutive wins, 9. Holy shit. Yeah, okay. If I were a driver during this period of 9 wins, I would just be so disheartened. like year after year after year after year, homie wins, I'd be pissed off though. It'd make me want to drive faster, be a little more reckless. I must say.
Dominance. Going into the turbo hybrid era, Prime Vettel
Turbo
was
hybrid.
simply
Shout out to
unstoppable.
Prius.
But the introduction of V6 hybrid power units led to a new era of dominance in Formula 1 when a constructor returned after
Cars are so
55
beautiful.
years.
Flashing lights. So it's not just the drivers that are like memorable. It's not just the teams that are memorable. It's the people also constructing the actual cars themselves. And the FIA, or whatever their name is now. They've changed it like 5 times.
Mercedes were back with a vengeance.
I don't know what it is, but I can't. Maybe it's because, again, the people who drive Mercedes where I live are just people who should not be driving Mercedes. But I want them to lose. Am I the only one? Be honest. I don't know what it is. I love the Germans too. I love Germans, but I cannot stand Mercedes.
Producing
as
a car
brand.
with supreme aerodynamics and phenomenal engine power, which blew out all competition for several years.
Dang.
Although this meant that a conflict
Oh my
started
God.
between their drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, in a rivalry coined the Silver War, which saw the two trade championships
Mercedes.
and dominate the grid for 3 years before Rosberg's retirement in 2016. What happens next? Lewis Hamilton goes on to win 4 more titles, and the team dominate the competition until the final year of the turbo hybrid era.
Turbo hybrid era. Imagine putting a turbo in a Prius. I drive a Lexus UX. Imagine I turbo that. It's a hybrid. It's already pretty fast in my opinion, but imagine if I turboed it. Imagine if I put an exhaust on it. Oh God. I've already done so many mods, but now I think, reliability though. I don't know. Let me know if y'all would be interested in those kind of videos, but turboed hybrid engine. That just sounds like power. The entire
In
history.
2021, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton underwent one of the closest and most grueling championship battles
Is
in
that
history.
Lewis?
They were
Please,
split by
no!
almost nothing the entire season. Some days
They're driving wild.
Verstappen was ahead, some days Hamilton was ahead, some days they were side by side, and on one occasion, they were on top of each other.
The funny thing is though, as they're battling this hard, like recklessly, people are still on the track driving, lapping, going. So they're stuck on the side while everyone else is still racing.
It was kind of hot. The championship went down to the wire,
Kinda
with several
hot.
crashes and controversies leading up to the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand
Dhabi
Prix,
Grand
where Max
Prix.
Verstappen converted pole into race victory to win his first world title in a race that was straightforward, not controversial in the slightest, and didn't cause the complete
Yeah, why the fuck is a safety car driving in front of... Like, get out of the way. Did y'all see that?
was straightforward, not controversial.
Like, move! Homie's trying to get on the outside. He has to cut all the way on the inside. That's probably like 2 seconds of time that he lost. Because, what? Because I don't think this is one of those, like, slow down where everyone slows down. I don't know what he's doing on the track.
In the slightest, and didn't cause the complete
Oh! Piers Morgan, shut the fuck up. I just read the headline. It said, lapped cars 1431, 16.5, they called them out by name, to overtake safety car. So I guess if you're behind the safety car, you have to slow down. So they just wanted to get in front of it to keep going. Oh my goodness.
controversial in the slightest, and didn't cause the complete irreparable destruction of Formula One social media. On a
I know. I was going to say there's Formula One social media, but I will not be on it. Y'all canceled me just for my Eurovision opinions. Imagine if I get into Formula One. And these are the reckless... I'm scared.
completely unrelated note, there was a change in F1's race directors going into the next season, which saw new regulations and another record be
cars are
broken
so
after Max
pretty.
Verstappen won 15 races in a single season to take his second title. And that pretty much brings us up to today. Have I covered every single driver and big event in Formula One's history? No, but I tried. Shout out to Bill.
The video was good. It was really good. I feel like it gave a good synopsis of where Formula One started. Though I must say, I wish we did stick more onto like the beginnings of it. Like, all we really heard was that it was a sport for a bunch of random people who had cool and fast cars that wanted to race each other. But how did we go from this small group of rich people to now it being like a world-class sport? Where was that transition? Like, the FIA just came in and said, hey, we're snatching up whatever y'all are doing and turning it into our thing? I don't know. But again, this video was very good. There's so many names. Alonso, again, Michael, Lewis Hamilton, the younger guys. Like, what would you be doing if you were 22, worldwide name, making millions and millions of dollars? Like, that's wild. The lives these guys live. The risk that they take. I just commend them effortlessly? Eternally. Whatever. It's just a great sport. Subscribe if you're new here. Like the video. What other content should I do over here? Let me know. Bye.